Okay, today's big day. We're going to start the Mishna Berura and Siman Reish Nun. The Mishna Berura begins in Os Aleph. The Shulchan Aruch says, "Yashkim abaykim yom shishi l'hachin tzarchi Shabbos." Person should get up early on Erev Shabbos Kodesh on Friday morning to prepare the necessities for Shabbos, which you need for Shabbos. Comes along the Mishna Berura and says, "What is the source of this?" The pasuk says in Shmos, "Tezayin hey vayom b'yom shishi vehechinu eis." Asher Yaviu, it's going to be on the sixth day. That's what we call Friday. That you will prepare that which you will bring. Hachana dumya dehava. The preparation is similar to the bringing. And the bringing of the man in the desert, of course, was immediately in the morning. Because the pasuk says, "Vayilketu oiso baboiker." They were prepared in the morning. Also, the preparations for Shabbos should be done immediately in the morning. What does this mean? Miyad acher kriya shema utfilo. This is referring to immediately after Shema and Shemona Esrei. So first, one should daven and recite Shema and daven, and then afterwards be involved in preparations of Shabbos. But if you're regular to learn after davening a set amount, or you learn with many people, don't cancel it. As is discussed in the end of Siman Reish Nun Aleph. We will see there when we learn that Siman. If the way is to sell in those places in the morning, and you will not find something to purchase after your learning session because supply and demand, and the supply goes due to the high demand. So then in that scenario, what is this dot thing on the screen? Weird. All right. All right, I fixed it, I guess. Okay, but if it is the way, if it's the way to sell in the morning, you're not going to find something after you learn. So then the learning should only be established after you purchase the food for Shabbos. So the idea over here is that if you're going to run out of food to buy, so then make sure you don't learn before you purchase your food. Make sure you purchase the Shabbos food first. If people are regular to sell in the morning very early before davening, and they won't find something to buy after davening, so they're going to run out of a supply. So if they're going to run out of a supply, so then you should purchase food for Shabbos, and then afterwards you should in fact daven. But you should see to it to recite Shema first. Since the time already approached, and this is not included in the category of that which it says in the Gemara in Brachos Yudalad, it's Paskin Siman Pei Test or Shulchan Aruch Aser Lazos Chafetzim Kodem Chizpal. It's prohibited for a person to take care of one's own personal needs before davening. However, purchasing Shabbos food, especially if you're going to run out, it should be done. Shizo Chavsi Shamayim Hi. These are needs of heaven, and therefore they could be done before. So in other words, there's a distinction between if it's a person's own personal needs versus if it's needs for a mitzvah, aka Shabbos, which would be permissible before tefillah. Next, Mishna Berura Beis. It's better to purchase food for Shabbos on Friday. That's better than purchasing it on Thursday. Because it is recognizable that a person is purchasing it for specifically and exclusively for in the honor of Shabbos. Unless something needs a lot of preparation, time involved to prepare it. For example, meat, the salted, etc. Other examples, so then that shall surely be purchased, in fact, on Thursday. If a but if we're talking about the meat that you're going to purchase on Thursday is going to be kachosh, is like thin, lean, and there's a doubt that maybe you're going to find on Erev Shabbos on Friday fattier meat, so then it's better to wait on Friday. This, of course, is referring to that you prefer a fattier meat. I don't know exactly what the Mishna Berura means over here when he says kochush and shaman. I think it means lean and fatty, but I personally like lean better. I don't like the fatty. That's just the way I was brought up. So in that case, obviously, it'll be the opposite. Halacha, right? If you only find the fatty meat on Wednesday, and you think you're going to find the lean on Erev Shabbos on Friday, so then it would be reversed. So then better to wait till Friday. Umistabra dibiyamim hakesorim, and it's logical to say that on the short days, aka right now in the winter, the earlier you're able to prepare on Thursday, the better. In other words, the Mishna Berura over here is saying something very insightful. When the days are very short, don't try to be so frum and say, I'm going to do everything on Erev Shabbos. No, if it's going to be stressful, don't save everything from then. Start already on Thursday. Get a head start.
Did he say this by haircuts?
No, he did not. And the reason would be is because a haircut takes a lot less time than preparing all the food for Shabbos. The main preparation of Shabbos is what we're doing right now. Siman Reish Shamach Beis, amazing simanim, incredibly enjoyable to learn it and very applicable. However, this is really the time-consuming preparation of Shabbos. This is the real preparation of Shabbos, the food. Because when there's Jews, there's food. Because that's what takes time. You got to buy it. You got to make it. You got to, right? How long does it take to set a table? 10 minutes max. How long does it take to cut hair? Even with the New York line, the purpose is going to barber. An hour max. An hour and 15 minutes. But how long does it? Yeah, but how long does the food take? It's math.
I understand masking, but I'm just saying that the haircut with the lines and everything, it's harder on.
That's why you gotta do what I do. I haven't been to a barber in years. My wife does it. It's a cheap haircut, but it's an expensive tip. That's all. All right. So now, v'tov sheyomer al kol davar shekoyne zehu l'kavod Shabbos. Also, it's ridiculous when you go to the barber and you're missing half your hair over here, and they still charge you full. Chutzpah. Then they charge you more for the beard. Ridiculous. Should even out. Okay. So, anyways, so on the short days, it's better to do it as early as you could. You do it as early as you could. And it's good to say on everything that a person purchases, this I am doing in honor of Shabbos. Because the speech has a effect on holiness a lot. And we saw the Shulchan Aruch yesterday. If a person isn't going to verbalize it, at least mentally think about it. I'm doing it in honor of Shabbos. Okay, and that we already saw the sources, the Magen Avram. This is old news. We already learned all this. Okay, but we're just going through the Mishna Berura. Now, what this means over here is, even though a person prepared, we said that you should start early from the morning for the preparations of Shabbos. Nevertheless, it's still a mitzvah, lechachila, preferably to add. Bein hashmashos, of course, doesn't mean between sunset and Seitul Chavim, when 3 stars come out. It's not talking about between Shkia and Seitul Chavim, because you're not allowed to do a lot of preparations then, right? You're not allowed to cook then. Rather, what this means over here, what this means is near the time of Shabbos, you should be involved with the preparations of Shabbos. Why? And the same exact, there's still more. And the same exact idea applies because, it will be recognizable that a person is doing it in honor of Shabbos when you do it closer to Shabbos. So that's why you should do it on Bein Hashmashos. V'remez l'davar. Hint to this matter. Shneimar is in the pasuk v'haya Mishnah Kloimer she'achinu she'enis, meaning you should prepare it a second time.
So what does it mean? Bein hashmashos here?
Bein hashmashos, and we're going to see when we learn those v'haders is the Mishna Berura is that it's referring to near the time of Shabbos, before Shabbos starts.
Interesting.
Yeah. The remez l'davar, the hint is v'haya Mishnah Kloimer she'achinu she'enis, prepare a second time because the Torah says. Remember, Shabbos is sanctified. Darshu Beishamai. They darshan up this pasuk in the Gemara and Beit and Tezaim Nafazol and Mechilton Parshat Yisrael. They say, remember Shabbos even from Sunday. Shabbos is coming. It's around the corner. It's only Sunday. We got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday left, but it's coming. What is the case? Let's say a person got a good portion. He should fix it and set it aside for Shabbos. They say on Shammai, the elders should call Yamav Shabbos. Every single day he was eating in honor of Shabbos. How? It wasn't Shabbos. Very simple. If you find a nice animal, he would say, this animal is going to be separated. I'm going to be using it for Shabbos. If he found another animal, no, he knew that was better from the first one. So he would eat the first one and he would leave the second one for Shabbos. So it comes out that consequently the eating is so that the better one will remain for Shabbos. So all of his eating, he was always trying to say, oh, I'm going to have this, but oh, now I found the better one, so I'm going to eat the worst one. The better one's going to be for Shabbos. He was always saving the best for Shabbos. However, conversely, Aval Hillel hazok mida cheres haisebo. But Hillel had another attribute that he did in honor of Shabbos. Baruch Adonai Yoim Yoim Yamas Lanu Serachinu. Blesses Hashem every single day. He provides for our needs. In other words, what Hillel would do is he would say, no, I'm going to eat whatever I want right now, and I'm going to get the food right before Shabbos, because I have bitachon in Hashem that He will provide for me for Shabbos. Many poskim, they agree. That really Hillel agrees that going like Shammai is best. Better safe than sorry, better be cautious. However, but Hillel had a tremendous amount of belief in Hashem. That for sure, for certain, Hashem would prepare a better portion for him than from other days. That what? That Hillel knew that he would have a better portion. He would always get the best closer to Shabbos. He had more bitachon. In order to strengthen his belief in Hashem, he would accustom himself this way. But for other people that don't have so much belief in Hashem and it's not as strong like Hillel's, for sure Shammai is better, safe than sorry. You always have what you have now, save that for Shabbos. If you get better, eat what you have now, and then save the new thing that you got that was better for Shabbos.
So you think the whole like Shammai in this case?
Saying most people, yeah. You gotta know your level of bitachon.
This doesn't fall under the get there, the whole like Shammai.
No. No. Question is why not? Answer probably would be
Why not? Halachic thing is more of a
exactly.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Explain this pasuk, how to remember Shabbos. More of a hashkafa idea. Shita bedavar. She'ena shkiach liknois. Kishi is damin loy davar. Shelo ye nifsad. As a yaniach ois l'Shabbos. It's obvious. If we're talking about something that is uncommon, it's a rare item to purchase. Kishi is damin lo davar. Shelo ye nifsad. So if this rare item would occur to you and you're not going to lose out, so that you're not going to lose out in it and not be able to get it because it's a rare item, get it now. As in Shabbos, get it right now for Shabbos. Mitzvah litoy mikol tavshil ber Shabbos kedei letaknun yafa kahoygen. It's a mitzvah to taste from every single dish on the eve of Shabbos in order to fix it properly.
Oh, so we got that Reb Sean, I think, asked yesterday or 2 days ago about
We didn't lose him, he lost us.
tasting on a tinus, right?
Yeah.
Do we answer that?
Yeah, we said,
All right, wait. So
I'm happy you
Reb
brought it
Sean
up because it's going to be pretty applicable for tomorrow.
I got a halacha yesterday. Actually, it's 2 days ago. 2 days ago. There's a debate if food can be tasted this Friday and spit out if possible.
Let me tell you, David. Okay, we're going to learn about it as we continue in the simon. Bottom line, you're not allowed to taste from it. That's the bottom line. The question that they done is if you could put it in your mouth and then spit it up, and we're going to learn all about it. Could you do that? Yeah, okay. There's an Or Letzion, if I'm not mistaken, who's Makel. I mean, if you want me to pull it up right now, we'll jump the gun over here. Because it's
No,
applicable tomorrow,
sorry.
and how often is this applicable?
And I guess the question would be, do you taste every Shabbos?
Do you taste every Shabbos?
Meaning that in other words, you're doing the te'im now.
Take a look at the dersh over here. I'll just show you, jump to what they say over here. Just talking about over here, someone who's fasting on Erev Shabbos. Prima Godim says he could taste the dish and spit it out. That, however, is talking about a personal fast.
Yeah.
All right. Now, talks about also Erev Shabbos Chazon during the 9 days, you're not allowed to eat meat. So the Horus Tshuva and the Yalkut Gershoni say you could taste it and then spit it out. But the Or Letzion writes, someone who regularly tastes from a dish every single Shabbos, he could taste and spit it out, even on this Erev Shabbos.
Lower.
Yeah, and you could swallow it. Since his kavanah is only to fulfill the Taimei Chaim Zachu. This is on during the 9 days. Also, Shmuel Vazner says that if there's a need to taste from it before Shabbos, you could taste it according to what you need. It's not considered tima that's prohibited because of simcha during the 9 days. But anyways, so Lamaisa custom is not to eat, not to do it. We'll learn more about it though. Anyways, so the question on this halacha, when there's food, there's Jewish questions. So mitzvah litoy mikol tav shabler Shabbos gil takmin yof gehoigen, which is why many people not careful with this halacha. Taste from every single dish. So we're gonna get to this more. So far, what we've seen is person should be careful. So we're gonna see there's gonna be what to rely on actually. So the Shulchan Shalom is discussing tasting from all of the actual Shabbos food on Shabbos itself is a mitzvah, he's going to say. That certainly will be a mitzvah.
It's what taste on Shabbos.
Yeah, because if it's going to be a mitzvah to taste on Erev Shabbos, certainly on Shabbos itself, because it's all a build-up for Shabbos.
You can't fix it on Shabbos. Well, I guess it depends.
It's not about fixing it, it's about enjoying it for owning Shabbos. He mitzvah. Because Shabbos that's the main mitzvah, owning Shabbos. Gimel. Talking about preparing yourself. Mitzvah's covered Shabbos, mutol al kol adam. He's alluding to what the Shulchan Aruch Harav said. The mitzvah of honoring Shabbos is placed upon every single person. We learned this in the Shulchan Aruch Harav. It's like a mitzvah that is on your body, an obligation. The pasuk says, "Karasel Shabbos oinig, liktoish Hashem mekubar." Mitzvah b'yos mishlucha. Better do your mitzvah yourself than a shliach. Seems like shlichus could be applied over here. Vu hadin b'kol ha-mitzvahs mitzvah b'yos mishlucha. Same thing applies. Any mitzvah to do it better yourself. Be'er Halacha is going to discuss this more in Dibra Maskell Yishtadel about this whole idea. Also, I think he's going to bring in the Sharat Zion over here. Yep, here it is. Sharat Zion test. V'nira de lo shaykh v'zel oimer mitzvah sheyuchol lasos al yidei achirim im avatul talmud afilu zman mu'at v'chalo yuchol lasos al yidei shulcho da'adefu mimi shehu acher lagamri yishomer davka mitzvah sheimu telos al gufo kagon sheyafsik be'emsa halimod leilach ligmol chesed im eza adam b'makom she'acher yuchol lasos yisimoato v'ahim ha'she'in kein bazeh she'akavod Shabbos mutelos al gufo mamela mitzvah v'yosef shulcho. The Sharatzi and the Chafetz Chaim down here in the Sharatzi is explaining the difference between if you want to visit a nursing home, but you're learning Torah and someone else already is visiting the nursing home, you shouldn't go because it's a mitzvah shev shalatzos yadei achirim. Other people are already doing it. Conversely, over here, when it comes to the preparations in honor of Shabbos, it's placed upon our body, and therefore, certainly, we ourselves should be involved. And mitzvah b'yos mishulcha would apply. Inami additional explanation. The dafkalin in kavod Shabbos amina and kein dechamira. Specifically by the preparations for Shabbos, which is very severe and stringent, we would say this, unlike other mitzvahs, if he's a Talmud Chacham and it's Bittul Torah, then he shouldn't stop learning. He says Sarachian on this. This touches upon what we saw yesterday in the Shulchan Aruch Harav. Back in the Mishna Berura. Koswa Svarim, the Svarim, right? We already saw this. Yahar Bechuva v'Yafashmi B'Maisa B'Kol Erev Shabbos. A person should think about repentance and perform introspection for his actions on the eve of every single Shabbos. Ki Shabbos Mikre Kala. Shabbos is called the Kala, Malchusa. Uki'ilu Makabel Penei HaMelech Yizbarach Shmoet. And if a person is greeting the face of Hashem, Ve'no Lakablo Kishahu Labush B'Balui Hasachayvos Shel Cheloes Avoinos. And it is not proper for a person to greet Shabbos when he is wearing the worn out, dirty garments filled with the filth of his sins. In other words, that since Shabbos is an auspicious time, a person should make sure that his tshuva is done so that he could greet the Melech properly and in a clean manner. Clean the spider webs Erev Shabbos. Certainly, one needs to sweep the house from the dust and the dirt while it is still day. This is all in honor of Shabbos. And a person should imagine a person should imagine in his mind as if he would be hosting a very important guest, such as a king, a mortal king of flesh and blood. How careful would he be to sweep the house and to clean it up and to make the beds and the couches and everything would be in pristine condition. Kol Shekain, certainly the king of all queens is coming over here, Shabbos Malchus, the Shabbos queen, the queen of all queens. And the Shulchan Aruch said we should learn from all these Chashav Amoraim, these rabbis that were personally involved with Shabbos. Hainu, meaning to say, Afilu hechoshu b'yoser, even someone that is very important, ubefrat, and especially b'yamim hakisorim, in the short days, umikol shekain, kishiroyer shekfar hu samach l'Shabbos shazu mechuyav la'asoik b'kol kocho. Especially when a person sees that it's already near the time of Shabbos, he's obligated to be involved with the preparations of Shabbos. B'kol kocho, with all of his strength that he has. Right, I saw men of great deed, Gedoyli Torah, great people in Torah, Shahayu Makabdin Habayis Ba'apsum, that they would personally sweep the house, clean the house on the short days, Kedeshul Yaschalo Shabbos, in order that Shabbos will not be violated. This is a full-fledged obligation now placed upon everyone. What's the difference if you don't have someone to prepare on your behalf, or if the messenger that you appointed doesn't have time? In other words, technically only a person needs to be involved with one act of preparation for Shabbos, as we learned yesterday a little bit. Nevertheless, if person's spouse isn't around or isn't going to have time to do everything, or if the cleaning help that a person has will not be able to get to everything, then a person should personally assist so that everything can get done. What about sharpening the knife? Ubesifri mas michla akra. The Sifri bases on a pasuk v'yadata ki shalom alecha. You shall know, the pasuk in Yov says that there will be peace in your tent. This is referring to zo hashchazas asakin. According to the drasha of the Sifri, this is referring to sharpening the knife. Kim chaos sucking yucho lavor lepamim ketoto chas v'shalom, because if the knife will be dull, you come sometimes to a quarrel. So we'll see as we continue to learn. This doesn't just refer to sharpening knives; it will extend itself and have a halachic ramification in other ways as well. Yes, nowadays, most of our knives, I don't
think anybody sharpens knives now.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I sharpened a knife. I know once every 2 years I'll sharpen the blade for my lawnmower. I'll go into the place, they'll do it for me, give them $5-10, whatever. But yeah.
That's all it costs? Wow.
Yeah, $5-10. Yeah. Anyways, probably the only guy who puts a lawnmower in the back of their electric car. All right. How many people with the electric cars this day and age mowed their own lawn? Anyways, I mean, there probably are a couple of thousand throughout America, but not in this area that's Jewish.
Powered lawnmower?
Yeah, they have electric power. They're very expensive. They're excellent.
With
This the ones that you could sit on, the ones you could push, self-propel. They have it all.
the battery, and it's battery.
Battery, yeah, that's right. That's right. They're more expensive, but yeah, they're quieter, they're nicer. They get the job done. Even have ones you plug on the wall. Those are a pain in the neck, though.
Century.
Yes, yeah, that's a pain. Kafiyah chalaso, according to financial abilities, you buy the meat, the yayin, other delicacies. Look earlier in Simin, Ayin Lel, Simin Reish Ben Bei Sham Avor, call it Pratim is over there. We explained all the details. Those are the Mishna Beruras straight up. See how quick it takes to learn the Mishna Beruras. But you see how much he doesn't talk about also, how much we learned up until now, right? You see how much he does quote that we did learn also. It's a very long Be'er Halach over here, Yashkim Abayker. I went through this whole thing. Says this one interesting point in the middle of nowhere, this Be'er Halacha. He says the first 3 halachic hours of the day are considered that you woke up early in the morning to be involved with the preparations of Shabbos. He goes into over here the preparations of Shabbos versus davening with the minyan. Davening with the minyan is really derabanan, the concept. Preparations for Shabbos are deraisa. So basically says that if you're not going to find any food, you live in an out-of-town place, there's only one minyan. And if you're not going to find food to purchase after tefillah, and they're not open before you're davening, and you only have one chance, either you're going to get the food that you want, that you're going to enjoy for Shabbos, or daven with the minyan, with the tzibor, you buy your Shabbos food. So you see from this psak of the Be'er Halacha how important buying the Shabbos food is.
Wow.
You know? Baruch Hashem, in these areas, I've never been to the supermarket when they ran out of anything before.
I think nowadays it's different. Like I was talking with somebody and this thing, the whole mindset is that they don't want, it's worth it them to have extra. That's why your cousin has extra.
Right.
This way they don't go to another store because, it'll happen that
Right.
they don't have something and they'll go to the other store from now on.
Right. So, there's always extra. Always extra. I always ask, what do they do with the hundreds of pounds of extra cooked food that they have on display?
It's worth it for them to say.
What do they do with it? They just throw it out?
I know when I worked for Seasons, they give it away or something like
They
that.
give it away?
They sell it cheaper in the last hours of the day.
In the last hours? I've been
But
at 2
otherwise, the
hours
partners
before. They
get
didn't
it,
sell it.
you-
Yeah, it's so much food. How are they gonna eat all of it?
But it's worth it for them.
But who eats it?
What?
Who eats it?
Yeah, I remember I used to bring some of it home sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll try, something, if you go,
When you go like an hour before?
if you
They
go like,
close an hour and a half before.
you go like an hour and a half, 2 hours before, sometimes, I'm not sure if they still do it, I never did back in the day, the season, would sell it cheaper. You would dock away.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways. That's that Be'er Halacha. This Be'er Halacha over here picks up on something we already learned about. The Rambam says that there's an obligation to be involved in Shabbos, not like the Shulchan Aruch and Torah said, Yishtadel, you should strive to do it. So after he quotes the Rambam, the Be'er Halacha writes, "V'kavana al eitzeh davar min ha'dvarim," to do something. And he quotes the Gemara in Kedushin that talks about that it's better for you to do the mitzvah yourself rather than have someone to do it on your behalf. Mitzvah b'yosem b'shulcho. Then he says, Pshar in the Rambam, the Efshar, it's possible to the Rambam that according to the Rambam who said that there's an obligation to be involved with the preparations of Shabbos, Gam Kin Lav Chov Gamarhu. The Rambam wasn't talking about a full-fledged obligation. Ella Ke'ein Chov, he's talking about something similar to an obligation. Mishum Kavod Shabbos, in honor of Shabbos. So it was somewhere in between striving to do it, the Hishtadlus, and a Chov, a full-fledged obligation, somewhere in between. Ke'ein Choyvim Mishum Kavod Shabbos, in honor of Shabbos. Usfaras HaRambam, the logic of the Rambam is the Ilav Hachi, Ohayim Evatlin Kohani Amoroim Toiroson Overzeh. Had it not been for this, had it not been, if you're not going to say that the pshad is that it's almost like an obligation, the Amoraim, they wouldn't stop learning Torah in order to be involved with the preparations of Shabbos. From the fact that they stopped learning Torah to be involved with the preparations of Shabbos, that shows that it's like an obligation. Nevertheless, this is not a full-fledged obligation. Okay, I'll prove it to you. We don't find in the Gemara that the language of an obligation is used in regard to anything in the onset or the preparations of Shabbos, except for lighting the Ner on Shabbos, lighting the Shabbos candles. Gemara says in Chafei Yamad Beis, B'daf Chafei Yamad Beis, Ule'inyan Shalosh Sudos. Daf Kof Yadayin Beis, also by Shalosh Sudos. That is an obligation. The Gemara says. But nevertheless, this requires more research.
Usually the Rambam is even back in Lashon. That's like.
It's the Chiddush of the Be'er Halacha.
Yeah.
And the truth is, he is not confident with this explanation of the Rambam. Therefore, he uses the language of it's possible this could be the explanation in the Rambam, that it's not a full-fledged obligation. Yeah, and he says Sarachin at the end. It's the next Be'er Halacha deals with another side technical question. How could these rabbis be so lenient with their honor that they deserve? Kavod Abriyas, honoring people, is so important that it can push off a negative commandment in the Torah. And Allah say the Rabbanim v'Sheival Tasei happened to the Torah l'chein kamer d'zeu kavodim. She's last with the mitzvah v'nikar shoytzekin l'shavas the kavod Hashem Yisbarach. No, that's why it says that this was their honor. They were involved personally in the mitzvah, and it was recognizable that they did this in honor of Shabbos. It was recognizable that they did it in honor of Shabbos, and therefore it wasn't considered a disgrace to their honor, because they were doing it in honor of Shabbos. It also says by David HaMelech, David HaMelech, David, unik loisi oid mezois. It's frozen. Mashein Kain. Nikar, conversely, if it's not going to be recognizable, for example, where do we go? There we go. For example, if an elderly person is being involved with something and it's not in accordance to his honor, lost the object, he's picking it up. Is being disgraced through that. Not everyone knows that he's involved with the mitzvah, so that's why that case could be different. Unlike over here, with that we could reconcile what it says in the Gemara in Kedushin and Daf Ayin. Rav Nachman osik ba'atzma of mitzvahs makkah. Rav Nachman himself was personally involved with the mitzvah of setting up a fence. If you have a roof and it's a flat roof, it's walkable, like many of the roofs in Farakoi, and there's a way to get up there, and people go up there, they sit up there. You got to play the fence. He was involved with that. That's a little low. No, Shasham who davar shakol yodim beishu oisik shu mitzvah Hashem. Everyone over there knew that when he was being involved with it, he'd be involved with the mitzvah of Hashem. Mashain came be'aveda beishu hu metapalba. Conversely, by a lost object, when Talmid Chacham is being involved with returning a lost object, not everyone knows that it's the longest object, so they're like, "What's this guy doing in the marketplace so long?" What the
guys what?
What's the guy doing in the marketplace so long? So therefore, even if he wants to return it publicly, Yodiem Shu Aveda, Gam came but through a term is that. So he's exempt. He's exempt from it. So that's the inside of this Be'er Halacha.
So
yeah,
if Talmid Chacham wants to find an do the Aveda, Pata means Pata Lavar also, but he could do it if he wants to.
Seems like it depends on the exact context.
For the Zakin also.
The Zakin, he might be referring to a Talmid Chacham when he says Zakin, because he says, if you look at the Vigadam Mishim, it's Chal covered Talmid Chacham, the same line he says it. I was thinking that, but yeah, the halachas of Aveda person is looked at. They get discussed in Choshen Mishpat. There's a beautiful sefer set that I have at home on these halachas about these inyanim. But yeah, this needs to be looked into to see exactly when this case would apply and practically nowadays. So anyway, so this is what we call learning Mishna Berura's summaries of Be'er Halachas, 2-page of Mishna Berura in 40 minutes, basically 35 minutes. So it goes faster when you already know half of the stuff that the Mishna Berura is talking about or more. So it goes much smoother. All right, so next time Yitzhak Hashem, we'll start dissecting this and see all of the chedushim and very important halacha lamaisa nuances that manifest themselves on these simanim. Because learning this Mishna Berura is certainly not enough. Because you have questions like that one question I asked of why a lot of people don't taste from any of the Shabbos food. Are they violating an Isser? It's an Aveira. It says over here it's a mitzvah, so they're not doing a mitzvah. How do you reconcile that? And other types of very important applicable ideas that we're going to have to tackle. So Mitzvah Hashem, next time, tomorrow, that's what we will tackle. Over Have a wonderful day, Bruchim.
I'll let the Monday. Still up in the air.